everyone! Ellie here to talk to you about paid time off. In this video, we're going to talk about how to structure your PTO categories and set up accruals with various settings based on your policy. We are going to be accessing the PTO pages under Features. First, we will create categories for each type of paid time off. Let's start in the PTO Categories page. Here, you can create as many categories as needed. Types of PTO that may not accrue, such as jury duty, bereavement, and holiday, can also be added. If you don't differentiate PTO in any way, just create one category for general PTO. If you are trying to track unpaid time off, this cannot be done in the PTO section. A non-paid project will need to be created under Features. In this example, we will show one category that does not accrue and several that have differing accrual rates. Many companies implement different accrual rates based on length of employment. Here, we have designated which category belongs to which length of time. Enter a full name and a short name to be displayed in reports. Internal note is optional and will only display on this page. Export earning code may be necessary if you export to a payroll company. If you are set up to export to a specific payroll company, some of these codes may be listed in the Export to Payroll page under Setup. For additional codes, please contact your payroll provider. PTO hours are usually listed separately. Choose Grouped only if you wish to view categories grouped together as PTO in reports, rather than designating the names of the categories. The system will default to make PTO exempt from overtime calculations. If you want PTO to count toward overtime, choose Included. At the top of the page, you will notice a selection for PTO menu. This allows employees to enter their own PTO usage without any kind of approval process. Now click Next at the bottom of the page to go to the PTO Assignment and Accrual page. This is where we'll create accrual settings that will carry over from year to year. This page is not used for current balances. The PTO Balances page will be covered on the next video. The first thing you'll want to do is check the boxes next to each category to assign to employees. If PTO will accrue differently based on how long the employee has been working, make sure to assign all of the categories to each employee, even if they do not currently qualify for them. Later, we will let the system know when to transfer an employee from one category to the next. You will notice we have not assigned the holiday category to employees. This is optional. As long as the category exists, it will be useful in the timecard edit page. When unassigned, employees will not be able to enter their own holiday time when given the PTO menu. Once you save changes, you'll be able to choose how often each category will accrue. Here, we've chosen semi-monthly as it is common to line accruals up with pay periods. Again, save changes, and the next column will open up. Now let's enter the accrual rate. This number represents how many hours the employee will receive every time an accrual posts. If the accrual type is annually, you can enter 20, 40, 80, etc. This will mean this amount of hours will post immediately once per year. Here we have chosen to allow 1.67 hours semi-monthly, which will add up to 40 hours per year. From year 2 to 4, our employees receive 80, so the accrual rate for this category is 3.34. And lastly, employees who work over 5 years receive 120 hours per year, with 5 hours for each accrual. Per hour worked is used only when a fraction of an hour is accrued per every hour worked. Since we do not want 5 hours of PTO to accrue per every hour worked, we will move on to the next section. If you use the weekly or bi-weekly accrual types, you can require employees to work a certain number of hours in order to gain the accrual for that period. When set to weekly, it will measure per week. When set to bi-weekly, it measures the full 2 weeks. Max PTO hours allowed is a feature used if you don't want employees to have more than a certain amount of PTO at any given time. With this feature, it is important to note that if an employee hits the max hours, accruals will stop until some of the time is used. At that point, accruals will resume until the max is reached again. Max yearly accrual will cap accruals at a certain amount per year. This is not necessary with an annual accrual or with accruals that will already add up to the desired amount by the end of the year. Maximum carryover can be used to either cap or completely cut off the carryover of unused hours into the next year. We're going to disallow carryover in our first vacation category, so we'll enter 0. For the second, we'll max the carryover at 20 hours. But let's say working for the company for over 5 years grants unlimited carryover. We'll leave the box blank for this category. The last two columns are primarily for probationary periods and for changes in accrual rates. If you use these columns, you will need to make sure to enter hire dates for your employees. Employees will not start accruing in a category until the minimum months have been reached. Similarly, accruals will turn off for a category when they have passed the maximum months employed. In this example, employees start accruing immediately at the 1.67 rate. Once they have passed their 11th month, it will stop accruing in the first category. After 12 months, they start accruing at the 3.34 rate. Now I know what you may be thinking. Why are these numbers 11 and 12 and not 12 and 13? Think about it like this. The min months column tells the system the employee needs to work this many months before they qualify for the category. Only after the completion of all 12 months are they allowed to switch over. The day that they have completed the 12 months and received their first accrual in this category is their 1-year anniversary and the first day of their 13th month. When you apply this logic to the max months column, the employee's last accrual of this category will post after they've completed 11 months, and that accrual will post on the first day of their 12th month. If you need an easy reference, just remember that the month you think it should be, so 12, 24, 36, 48, goes in the min column, and just subtract 1 from those numbers, so 11, 23, 35, 47, to use in the max column of the previous category. Let's move on. At the end of the 4th year, 47 months, they stop accruing in the second category and move on to the third with 48 months. Because the accrual rate doesn't change going forward, there's no need to enter a maximum month. Don't forget to save changes before moving on. If you have multiple pages of employees, make sure to save changes in between each page of employees.
For the easiest setup experience, you may want to go ahead and tackle balances now rather than waiting until another day. The reason for this suggestion is that tonight, when the PTO service runs, all of the settings that you just created will go into effect dating back from January 1 of this current year. If you need accruals to post on certain days, or if your employees already have balances, going back and undoing the auto schedule will be far more work than just going ahead and powering through now. So to start the schedule out on the right path and avoid having to make a lot of adjustments later, you should go ahead and move on to the next video now. In that video, we're going to go over the PTO balances page and the PTO accrual edit page, and we'll work on fixing the accrual schedule and the balances.